What is up, everybody? It is JT Sports. I'm at you guys with another NFL video. This video, I'm going to be doing my New York Jets 2021 7-round mock draft 2.0. This is my second mock draft for the New York Jets this offseason. The reason why I had to make a second mock draft for the New York Jets is because the last one that I made was before free agency. And as we already know, free agency was really hectic. So I had to make another mock draft to reflect all of the action that happened in free agency a couple of weeks ago. So when you look at the New York Jets heading into the draft, they still have a lot of needs and a lot of holes on this roster that need to be filled, and most likely all of those positions of need probably are not all going to be addressed. They're probably going to have a couple of weak areas as we head into, the last phase of the off season. So when you look at the New York Jets, basically, we know with them getting rid of Sam Darnold, they're pretty much going to be a lock to take a quarterback. They still need to improve the offensive line. Secondary needs work. Pass rush needs work. They also could use some linebackers as well. They just need a little bit of everything. So before I get into this, make sure that you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, because I upload NFL videos and in-depth off-season content all off-season long. When the NFL draft is over, a lot of people don't really know what to talk about, but me personally, I feel like I have the best off-season coverage of the NFL than anybody else on YouTube. So make sure that you guys go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video with your friends, family, acquaintances, and share the word of JT Sports. So with their first round selection, second overall, having them taking quarterback out of BYU, Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, man, I was watching a little bit of his pro day, and I'm now starting to see why he's getting Patrick Mahomes comparisons, because this dude had one throughout his pro day when he was rolling out to the left, and off his back foot alone, he threw an absolute dime, like 50 yards downfield. Like, this dude's arm strength is way better than what I gave him credit for. I knew he had a good arm, but I didn't think it was that strong, man. Like, do you know how much arm strength and how much arm talent you have to be able to throw off your back foot rolling out to left downfield like that? Like, it was just an absolute beauty. And I think for the New York Jets getting rid of Sam Darnold, this pretty much all but confirms that Zach Wilson is going to New York Jets with the second overall selection. Now, maybe they could surprise everybody and take Justin Fields, but I strongly doubt that they're going to pass up on Zach Wilson with their second overall selection. Now that they take their franchise quarterback, okay, you have to protect your franchise quarterback, okay? And I think the next step to doing that is by drafting offensive tackle Jaylen Mayfield, 23rd overall. Now, you already have offensive tackle Mekhi Becton, who you drafted in last year's NFL draft. I think he was the best tackle from that draft class in 2020. Now, if you get Jaylen Mayfield, you're going to have a really good offensive tackle duo. You're going to have Mekhi Becton, who is essentially a Pro Bowl caliber tackle, and you're going to have Jaylen Mayfield, who may be the second or the best pass blocking offensive tackle in this year's draft class behind Penny Sewell. So you look at Jaylen Mayfield, what he brings. You're getting a guy who's really good in pass protection. You're getting a guy who's pretty solid in every level of the game. So for the New York Jets, I don't think you can go wrong in drafting Jaylen Mayfield. Then you're going to have a solid duo at the offensive tackle position, which is going to be able to not, it's more to having a great offensive line than just having two great tackles, but, having two good tackles is a start. So Zach Wilson can have that protection on the outside. Moving on to the second round, 34th overall, have them taking edge rusher Jaylen Odenigbo out of Vanderbilt University. Now, this guy has a lot of potential, but didn't really have a lot of production. He only had 5.5 sacks in 2020 and only 1.5 sack in 2019. So you're having a guy who doesn't really have that much production, and I wasn't really all that impressed with, the film that he has, because a lot of his sacks, majority of his sacks, basically came on the quarterback running around and pretty much running into him. He just happened to be there to get credit for the sack, but really he has a lot of potential because he has elite size. He's 6'5", 285 pounds. Now, he needs to improve his defense in the run, but he also needs to improve, adding some more pass rushing moves. He also had too many missed tackles. Isn't really good when it comes to play recognition, but he can play either. He can be an interior defensive lineman or he can be an outside linebacker. He can fit in any system, pretty much 3-4, 4-3, whatever you want to use him at, because he has the athleticism to play outside linebacker, but also he has the strength and athleticism to play on the line line if you want him to as well. This guy is an impressive physical specimen, 6'5", 285 pounds. This guy is a freaking, he has all the potential in the world to become a dominant pass rusher for the New York Jets. But the question is, are they going to be able to develop him? Because this is going to be like a 2-3 year developmental project if you're drafting him in the second round. Some people think he can go late first, but I think him going early second will probably be reasonable when you look at the potential and the high upside that he has with his length and athleticism. Third round, 66 overall, I have them selecting cornerback Paulson Adebo out of Stanford. Now, I like Adebo a lot. Now, the reason why I like Adebo a lot, this is a guy who is kind of going under the radar, but he's long and lanky. He's 6'1", 198 pounds. He's rangy. He is phenomenal in coverage. This guy is a ball hawk. I think this guy has potential to be a day one starter right away and kind of be similar to cornerback Jaylen Johnson. Remember Jaylen Johnson went to the Chicago Bears in the second round out of Utah. He was probably the second best rookie corner last year. I think Paulson Adebo could have that kind of season for the New York Jets, and the New York Jets desperately need some help at cornerback right now. Paulson Adebo, man, this guy plays with great leverage. Only thing about him is that sometimes he gets caught in bad positioning at times, but other than that, man, I think Paulson Adebo is may be one of the biggest draft day steals on the second or third day of the draft, depending on when he gets selected. But great length, great size, plays with good technique and fundamentals. I would love to see Paulson Adebo head to New York Jets. I think this would be a perfect fit, and if you're a New York Jets fan, if you're able to land Paulson Adebo, I think you should be feeling really excited about what he can bring to that defense with Robert Saleh. 87th overall in the third round, still I have them taking the halfback Michael Carter out of the University of North Carolina. Now, Michael Carter and Javonte Williams made up the best backfield in college football last year with UNC. This dude is a absolute monster. He's 5'8", 200 run pounds. He's powerful, explosive, doesn't fumble, takes care of the football. He has great contact balance, fights through contact. This guy averaged 8 yards per attempt last season with the Tar Heels. He reminds me a lot of Maurice Jones-Drew. You know, he can run through you. He's a little shifty as well, but the downside about Michael Carter is that he doesn't have that second gear breakaway speed. A lot of times he got hauled in from behind, but this guy has exceptional bounce. This guy's a physical runner. Reminds me a little bit of Dalvin Cook and Devontae Freeman when they were coming out of, you know, Florida State during their respective draft classes. And I think Michael Carter could right away have a pretty solid rookie year with the New York Jets, with the question marks that they currently have at the halfback position. Moving on to the fourth round, 108th overall, I have offensive guard Aaron Banks out of Notre Dame falling to the New York Jets. Now, Aaron Banks has pretty mixed draft projections. Some people think he can go in the second. Some people think he could be a day 2 pick. I think he could probably end up going in the fourth round because he is a great run blocker, but he plays too high. His pad level is too high most of the times, and I have questions about his pass protection. But in a power run scheme, I think that could really bring the best out of Aaron Banks. He's 6'5", 325 pounds, so obviously the size is there. The athletic ability is there too. It's just that, can you improve his ability as a pass blocker is the question. But if you can, then you have a stud right away for the New York Jets if they're able to get the most out of him. Fifth round, 147th overall, cornerback Trey Brown out of Oklahoma. Now, he's 5'10", 185 pounds, so he's pretty much going to be a slot corner. He is pretty much a great press corner, but aside from that, you know, he's good in run support. He's also a demon on special teams, but aside from that, man, he's not really all that great in coverage. Aside from his ability to press, once after the press, it's pretty much a done deal with him. He had 14 holding and pass interference penalties in the last 2 seasons combined. He also gets beat downfield too often. He gets little boy too often, especially on 50-50 balls against bigger physical receivers. He gets beat downfield too often, which is why he has so many pass interference and holding penalties. But I do feel like he could be a pretty good fit as a slot corner with how he's able to tackle and things like that. He could kind of be similar to like how Pittsburgh utilized Mike Hilton before Mike Hilton left and went to Cincinnati. So when you look at Trey Brown, you're pretty much getting a slot corner who is also pretty good when it comes to being able to tackle, and he's also really good on special teams. So this is what you're looking for at this part of the draft. You're looking for guys who can come in, maybe they make the roster, maybe they don't, who can also come in and be solid backups and contribute on special teams, and that's what Trey Brown out of OU can do. I have Tuff Borland out of Ohio State going 155th overall. Tuff Borland is one of my favorite linebackers in this draft class. 6 feet, 229 pounds. He was a 3-time team captain with Ohio State. The only Ohio State Buckeye to do that aside from J.T. Barrett. He's a great leader. He's good getting off blocks, but he doesn't have that sideline-to-sideline speed. He kind of has below average speed for a linebacker, which is really concerning because he's only 6 feet, 229 pounds. He's also not really good in man coverage as well. So for Tuff Borland, like I said, you're getting a guy who could come in on run plays because he is really good against the run. Reminds me a lot of Blake Martinez a little bit. He's not great in coverage, but he's pretty good against the run. He's also a pretty good tackler, but then again, he doesn't really have that great sideline to sideline speed that you want out of a linebacker. Moving on to round 6, tight end Kenny Yeboah out of Ole Miss University, 187th overall, would be the last selection of the draft for the New York Jets. Now, Kenny Yeboah has a lot of potential. He's 6'4", 250 pounds, and has great speed for a tight end. So the measurables are there, the physical traits are there. He's also a good vertical threat downfield because not too many linebackers can keep up with him because how fast he is, and he's too big for a defensive backs because he's 6'4", 250 pounds. But the problem is, aside from his physical traits, the traits that he actually has on the field aren't really all that great. He's not a good run blocker at all. He has too many concentration drops, and his route running dramatically needs to improve. So he's basically Kyle Pitts, but without, the intangibles that Kyle Pitts brings to the table. Inconsistent when it comes to catching, too many drops, not really a great route runner. But if you're able to, sit back and let him develop for a couple of years, you could get a really good late draft day still if he's able to become a more consistent tight end when it comes to catching and running routes. So this is it for my New York Jets 7-round mock draft 2.0. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comment section down below. Make sure that you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos.